it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast, grab a chair, fill your glass.
Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie Podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and today's guest is Ashley Noel. And I just want Noel. All right, we got to make sure we get that right. But I just want to read a couple of things about her. This girl is amazing. I like to read about her life journey and what she's gone through. But I just want to say that I'm glad to have you on here. You're making the Really Charlie Podcast much. I'm going to turn this light down. You're making this podcast much better by being on here, and I really appreciate you being on here. So, all right, everyone, this is Ashley Noel, right?
Yes.
Ashley Noel is an African-American mother, writer, graduate of Purdue University Global, magna cum laude, with an AA in criminology, criminal justice, diagnosed with learning disabilities and ADHD. At the age 12, Ashley did not let that deter her from having big dreams. An expert at overcoming obstacles, having beaten drug addiction, alcoholism in her early 20s. PTSD, an eating disorder, and more. Ashley is dedicated to making a difference in the world by using her adversities as a tool to motivate and bring awareness to readers about bringing awareness to readers in the power of self-healing, transformation, and successful manifestation.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's and she's also an author of a book, Metamorphosis, and you got to pre-order it. And I have the website in the comments section.
Nice.
Feel free to press on that link, anybody, and go ahead and pre-order this book. It's amazing. It's definitely a must read. Told, and I can't wait to get my copy.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Well, I just want to tell you that our mutual friends from the Atlanta's Writers Group and Wild Woman's podcast, I know I'm missing a few words there, but between Kathleen Nichols, Kim Conroy, George Weinstein, Gabby Anderson, you, and I still have about 6 or 7 more guests just from that circle. So it's amazing what they have done for me on this podcast. It gave me some amazing guests.
A lot of great connections.
Yeah. So the when I first reached out to you, I was already excited. I just reading, some of the things that our friends have told me about you. And then I kind of trolled your page, on Instagram, and just trying to get to know you, see what you're about. And I was already excited.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that.
So, besides life but personally, where do you get the inspiration for all this? Positivity, and I mean, it's obviously, from what I read, it's just your life experiences that, and so the now you write this book. I'm an author too. I wrote a few books, and I really enjoy it. It's really something that helps me out, especially the poetry. So where do you get your inspiration from?
I get my inspiration from my life experiences, for sure. I've always loved writing. Even in college, I couldn't wait to take my creative writing courses. And I just like to reflect upon my experiences and kind of use that in a way to try to inspire other people. But it's also inspiring and healing for myself too when I write. And so I try to kind of just draw upon all of those experiences, good and not so good, because, and I have chills right now, I feel like that those experiences that we have really make us like who we are today. And I've just grown so much in these last few years, even, not just as a woman and a mother, but as a writer as well. And
Yes.
it's just amazing to see what happens when you really kind of like step back and you're honest with yourself and the message that you want to send, and you just kind of just zone in on that with no fear. And that's what I did with Metamorphosis. I just wanted to create something to inspire people through all of their trials and tribulations, and be like, and I still have chills right now everywhere,
Hmm.
like this is like a really personal, almost like a personal diary. It's not written in diary form, but just imagine writing a diary and
Yeah.
then putting all your darkest and deepest fears, experiences, things that you went through, and deciding to share that with the world. And my hope in doing that is just to help people. And that's just really what I'm hoping to do. I'm sharing my story.
True. If you help, if you have help 1,000 people going through what you went through, there's thousands more,
Yeah.
there's millions more, really.
Yeah.
And so it's the job is never done, and it's great that you have it in a book, because what happens is that book becomes a source, becomes something, an inspiration, because exactly what you're going through, give or take, someone's gone through the same thing,
Yeah.
and or worse, and so, or slightly better, it
Right.
doesn't, but it's still the same exact thing. It's still a
Mhm.
story. It's
Yeah.
still something that we have to go through. Still something that we have to try to, um, put a seatbelt on it, or try to get through it. Trauma is crazy, crazy.
Crazy, and it can affect you like years later, and that's something that I experienced. And I think sometimes people think like if they go through something, well, okay, I'm supposed to be over this in a year, or I'll be over this in 2 years. And sometimes there's some like residual stuff that really sticks around subconsciously, and you don't really recognize it. And
Yeah,
it takes like deep soft self talks with like yourself, and being like, okay, where is this really coming from? And it's a hard conversation to have with yourself if you're someone who's been through trauma. It doesn't even matter like what level, because like you just said, there's just so many different, there's like a huge range of trauma, and it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're on. Like if you were in there somewhere, like you can go through a lot of stuff that you don't even really realize that you're going through, and you just kind of become accustomed to it, and then you start living like that, and you don't realize how much it's holding you back.
exactly, exactly. Um, we got a comment here from Michael, and says, "Good evening, Charlie and Ashley."
Hello.
Good, good evening, Michael. Glad to have you on board here. Um, some of the things that like there's perceptions of that trauma has a frown, and people don't realize that you can go through traumatic situations with a smile on your face, and they just don't understand. People who say, she's all right, he's all right, and guess what? No, they're not.
Yeah.
You gotta dig for some signs, and but it's, I think the hardest thing, maybe I'll ask you,
Okay.
was the hardest thing was for you was recognizing trauma, you personally, that you were going through
I think the hardest thing for me was learning how to help myself so that the trauma didn't have a hold on me. I think it was easy for me to recognize, and I knew like, all right, I do a lot of this stuff, or I'm experiencing this because of this trauma. But, you know, when it comes down to kind of, you know, self growth and stuff like that, it's hard to do the work. It is. And it doesn't just happen like that. It doesn't just happen overnight, but, you know, you can take a lot of steps each day, you know, with certain opportunities presented to enhance your growth and to release that trauma a little more. When I started doing a lot of self work and really, really, and I've got chills right now, working through my stuff. That's what I call it, my stuff, my work. We all have our stuff. We all have our own work. It, you know, I could see how things were changing in my life for the better and how I was able to experience things better. And it's just, I just am so excited for people to read the book because I truly feel like if you're a book lover, and it's so funny because like I grew up, I had such a hard time reading. I really did. And even like in high school and, you know, college, my family would be like, Ashley, the writer who doesn't like to read, you know, it was just like a joke. I feel like all it takes is one book to change your life and to lead to other books that change your life. And that's what happened to me. And that's why I wanted to write about my journey, because I really feel like, you know, you can inspire people with sharing your stuff. And maybe that might kind of help them to not be so fearful about their trauma and working through it. You know, it helps to hear other people's stories.
So true. I got some text messages. I just want to
Sure.
see if I want to read it just in case it's for us, you know.
Give us a text.
Yeah. All right, let's see. All right. This that was unrelated to it. I'm sorry.
That's
But
okay.
So when you well, do you have one book that really got your attention for you to write a book?
So I've always wanted to be a writer. So I wouldn't say that like one book got me to write a book, because even before Metamorphosis, I had already written previous books. I just hadn't, you know, really done anything with them. But I just, it's like I don't want to do a spoiler alert. So it's like I kind of want you to read the book to find out what
Yeah,
changed
exactly.
my life. But there was one particular book that I read that got this whole thing started. So it's a book that I suggest to the readers in my book to read. It's a must read. So you've got to read the book to read that. But I'm telling you, as someone who always just wrote and never really read, I read that book in a couple of days, just like that. That's how pulled in I was, and it really changed me like instantly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let me bring your book cover up
Sure.
so everyone will see it. It's pretty.
Thank you.
I like the artwork. I always have like each idea. I just came up with a new book I'm going to be writing, and so now I got to think about the artwork.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, so I can't wait. I'm kind of excited about it. So
There
did
she
you
is.
have did you have any large input on the design, or did you let someone
Yeah,
else
you
do it?
know, I have to say that my publisher is amazing, and I'm so appreciative to be with them. It's such like a personal experience. And, you know, I was able to fill out my questionnaire and put my input for the cover and everything. And the designer listened to me, and like I cried when like he sent me like, this is what I have for the cover. I was with my mom and I was just like, oh, and I started crying, you know. It just felt so cool just to see it, and I can't wait to like hold it in my hands and like smell it, the book and
It's
everything, you know.
it's very it's just something. Once you get that, especially your first book, and you hold
Yeah,
it, you're like, wow. You see your name on the cover. Just
that's what did
opening,
it. That's
yeah.
what made those tears come. I was like, oh my gosh. And my mom's like, I'm so proud of you. She's crying too, you know. It's just
Mm-hmm.
emotional. It's a proud moment for sure.
Are you gonna do a book signing, or are you just gonna
Yeah,
leave everything?
I hope to. I hope to do lots of book signings and, lots of events, probably more so during the spring and summertime. I hope to travel around and, speak with people. I plan to do a lot of things with this, and just really I just want to get the message out there, because I feel like sometimes when you're in a certain space in life and you're just like, who am I? What am I doing?
Hmm.
Where am I going? This is what I wanted to do, but I'm over here doing this. Or there's just a lot of things when you're feeling like that. It's hard to get yourself out of that space. And so I really want to send the message that it is possible. You don't even necessarily have to be going through trauma, but for me, I was working through trauma, but I was also at the point in my life where I just didn't know what I was doing. And I think a lot of people can relate to that. I think it's, after COVID too, like you just are like, what am I doing?
Hmm.
And so I really want to spread the message that it doesn't matter like where you've been, what you're currently doing, what you've experienced, it doesn't, how old you are, it doesn't matter. You can still do the things that you want to do. You can still dream big. Cause I learned through all of this that the only thing that ever holds me back from the things that I want is myself.
Hmm. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's the a few friends, family members. It seems like over the years they were always looking for something to set them back. Especially when they were doing good or well or on the right track, or trying to work towards better things in their life. Especially when it came to trauma. But it got to the point where some of them were almost had a not an attraction, but they always kind of found something. It may be something, well, you know, my mother lost a cat. It could be something that simple.
Hmm.
I don't know what she's going through. She's so, you know, she's so sad. And then all of a sudden well, I went out and I got high. I was
Hmm.
drinking. I
Hmm.
got depressed. I popped one or more, two more pills, so on and so forth. And what do you do? Or what do you try to do when you see that someone is losing strength and their own self strength? How would you help them out?
I just try to come from a place that's not judgmental. And this is still stuff like a work in progress, like we are constantly evolving. You're not the same person you were last week, and I'm
Hmm.
not the same person I was 2 months ago. So I try to kind of, always come from a place that's non judgmental, a place that is understanding. And you kind of like sometimes you have to set aside what you think what you would do if you were that person, and maybe what that person needs to hear in that moment. And sometimes it's just a tough spot and you may not know what to say. And maybe all you can do is just be there, emotionally for them. Sometimes people just need to vent. That's one thing that I've learned and I'm trying to get better at, is just listening to anyone who needs to vent. Sometimes people don't want advice, they just need to vent and just to say, I messed up, I did this. And you just have to kind of like go with the moment and how you feel. I don't say anything to anybody that, just to sugarcoat anything, I guess, if that makes sense, because I feel like that holds us back a lot, is,
True.
you know, hearing things that people think we need to hear because they feel bad for us, or, stuff like that. And I've learned in this work that I'm doing that it's always best to be honest. So if you don't feel comfortable being honest with the words you think you want to say, then sometimes it's best just to be a listener. And that's the other thing too, is like, you always want to be there for your family and for your friends and whoever as a support system. But you also have to remember what it's like to be a supporter and not to try to like force people to do stuff that they're not ready to do.
True. And some people, when you talk about being in a non-judgmental environment, sometimes this person themselves are the most critical critic of themselves,
Yeah.
and you're trying to fight that. And as you're someone, as like, I try to listen. I can let someone talk forever, and I'll stay there and I'll just listen and listen. Um, and and that may be the best thing.
Yeah.
And but like you said, being honest, I've lost some friends over the years just by being honest. And I lost some just recently, and I'm not the guy that has a heartless personality, heartless, character or personality. I try to help out somebody, but I'm also going to try to be as sincere and truthful
Yeah.
as I can, because it's very, very important.
No, it is. And sometimes that's all you can do,
Yeah.
and that's hard when, it comes to people that you love or care about.
Who's your go-to person? And you don't have to mention names if you don't want to, but um, is it one person? Is it several people?
Well, I have like a few people. Obviously, my mom. I'm pretty close with my mom, but there's some things that I just like to maybe keep with one of my dear friends. That's what, sometimes I'll refer to her as that. I have a couple dear friends, and I really kind of go to them for advice or maybe just an ear to listen. But I've been really trying to work these last few years on kind of like asking myself. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think
Hmm.
for a long time for me, I needed people to almost tell me what to do. Like I couldn't even, I'm not saying like boss me around, but I couldn't even figure out how to make decisions on my own because I was afraid of doing something wrong or missing this point or whatever. And so I found that like the more people I kind of went to, the more anxiety I almost got because I was getting like all these different everybody has a different opinion. And so I've really worked hard these last few years and listening to myself and having conversations with myself and trying to do as much as I can on my own. And if I still need to reach out to people, then I do. But with that comes like a sense of power
Hmm.
and confidence when you're able to kind of figure things out on your own or to try to work through something. And I'm not saying to always be independent, but for me and what I've experienced, this was like a huge part of my growing was to trust myself and my decisions and my intuition with what I was going through and then reach out to people who I trust and love and who I know want the best for me.
Good. Awesome. Lisa Medina says, very well said. Congratulations on your book. May God bless you on your journey to better things in life.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Dial Moa says, good evening, my good people. Checking in on the podcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks for checking in.
Yes. Good dude. Good dude. And Anna says, hello. Hello, Anna. Yeah, she's doing inspiring things, trying to help her friends. So keep up the good work, Anna. I missed you a couple of days ago, and I'm sorry about that. So the I like when I wrote my first book. During that process, I already started thinking about a second one. What about you?
Yeah, it's already written. It's in here. I just gotta type it out. I gotta put it on paper.
Mhm.
So I
Good.
actually plan to I already have like a small chunk of it done, and then I kind of had to let that sit for a while and just focus on metamorphosis. But I'm ready to go come January. I hopefully be able to just write it out just like the other one. Once you kind of get
Awesome.
in that groove of writing, you're just like you can't be stopped. You're just
Yes.
putting
And you
oil in the machine and you just keep going.
keep going.
Yeah.
It's one thing I learned is always stay ahead of the publisher. So when
Yeah.
they come up to you and they say, Ashley, I loved your book. Do you have another one? Yes, I do.
Yeah.
when can you get it done? It's already done.
Yep.
And, boom. And they're like, wow, all right. I like that.
It's so
But
funny you said that because somebody just said that to me today.
yes, see that? It's awesome.
She told me, she goes, get your other book ready. And I was like, I know, but
Hmm.
I'm like so focused on trying to promote metamorphosis. I'm like, just as soon as January 5th comes, boom, I'm just gonna write it out.
I
I'm not gonna
love it.
talk to anybody for 3 months. I'm just gonna get it done.
Awesome. It's a comment that self resilience comes with a comfort few and can afford, and allow to spare yourself the conflict of having expectations of
Yep.
others, people contributing to your dream, and not being available for your needs.
That is so
Awesome.
well said. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you get a 5 stars for this,
Yeah,
man.
no, absolutely.
Good
Yep.
job.
And that's one thing that I learned too. Like, so after I signed the contract, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell anybody for like a month or so because I just wanted to kind of like enjoy the moment on my own, because when you do start to like share things with people or ask advice, you kind of get everybody's, expectations or questions and all of this other stuff. And sometimes it's just best to kind of hang on to things for a little bit and just
Hmm.
kind of keep it for yourself. And I was like, after a month and a half, I was like, all right, I gotta at least tell my parents,
Yes. I love it.
Yeah.
The one thing that whenever you, and this is just an assumption, but
Mhm.
whenever you get comfortable, um try to do your own audio book. Um Only because it's there. What I like about the audio books is that they're quick sells.
Yeah.
And when you're trying to sell some books, it gets a little difficult sometimes. But whenever you have time, even if you sometimes, some people pay for other people to speak their words and do their own book, which is good. But I'm finding out that that's a nice thing for an author, is to have an ebook. It's very, very it's so nice, especially with me. I drive all over the place, and it's nice to put, you know the app in my car. I get to listen to it, through the Bluetooth, and instead of listening to music, because everything I do is podcasting,
Yeah.
YouTube, and so if I can get listen to it, I'm definitely gonna listen to it. But
I would love to do that. Like, I actually love audiobooks. So I have a lot of, learning disabilities. And for me, it's easier just to listen to the book.
hmm.
Sometimes often when I'm reading, I have to like go back and like reread it. And that becomes frustrating. And then I don't read. So
Yes.
I'm a huge
Hmm.
fan of audiobooks. And I have listened to a lot. And I love when the author reads their own book. I just like to hear
Hmm.
their
Yes.
voice and them reading it. And I thought about that. I was like, oh my gosh, because I saw this thing on Instagram a few weeks ago, and it was just like listening to the sound of your voice in a video, and everybody kind of gets like cringy to like how they sound when
Hmm.
they're listening to themselves. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. Anytime I've watched a video and I can hear myself, I'm like, that's me. So I'm always like, oh gosh, if I do this, I'm like, what am I going to sound like?
No, you'll be fine.
Right.
Don't even sweat it.
All
Just
right. Okay.
do it. Let's see. Congratulations a million times, my special lady, your Graham.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank
Nice.
you.
Awesome. I love that. Um, See, and people are already ready. They want that book on their
Oh,
shelves.
that makes me feel so good. Really, it
Yeah.
does. Because I'm going to be honest. So I was just speaking with someone today, and I was just like, gosh, it's like, wow, I realized I just wrote a book, like I was saying, about all my, deepest feelings and emotions, things I never shared with like anybody, just like kept to myself. I was like, and now I'm going to share it with the world. I go, I got a little anxiety about that, but I'm settling into it now, and I really truly feel from like the depths of my soul that this is going to help a lot of people. And I just that's just my dream, to really to help people, because I'm telling you, I've been there. When people read it, they're gonna know, and it's just hard to sometimes pull yourself out of certain places in life, but it can be done.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing to take away from the book, is that it can be done. Doesn't matter what end of the spectrum you're on, trauma or grief or addiction or whatever you're going through. You can always do something to keep bringing yourself up a little bit each day. And before you know it, you're going to just look back and you'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, look at where I am. Look at where I was. Look at where I am now. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really great feeling when you do that.
That's it's I always had well, let me read this comment first.
Sure.
Tabitha Brown voice in story time. Definitely nice to hear the voice of an author, which is that's from Lisa.
Yeah,
I actually remember that name, so I'm gonna look her up. But I do remember that. Awesome. The thank you, Lisa. The one of my dreams or something on my bucket list is to have just have a center or just an open space, but inside a building, an open space where you can go into different rooms and play audio book.
I love that.
So you can kind of like sit in whether it could have anything. It could have a room with some beanbag chairs
Yeah.
or anything, just benches, or maybe anything, just something soothing, and then you just have the book of the day where you just choose anything. It could be anything. Right now I'm reading Barack Obama's new book, so I've
I
been
gotta read
listening.
that.
Yeah, it's I got it on Audible. It's The Promised Land, and it's very nice. So and I'm just sitting there, just chilling out, and just basically what I would like is just to pick a certain book, like Metamorphosis, and just let it play for the day, just like
Yeah.
boom, and then it's playing, and then people are just listening to it, and it's like,
That's a really great idea, Charlie. And that's like different. Like I've never seen or heard of a place like that. And people love
yeah,
stuff that's different,
yeah,
You can do anything you want to do.
yeah. This has this poetic pulse that I have, as I say, is it's always going. I'm always thinking of different things, and that's one of them.
Do you keep a journal?
No, other than my poetry.
So
But
I don't have it right here, but I actually have like 3 different journals going, and I write like all of my notes, even on my iPhone in like the notes app. I have this huge list. Like, I mean, I've been adding on to it. And anytime I get an idea of something that I want to do or something that I think is cool or something to like invent, I just always write it down. So that's a good tip for anybody, because I feel like it gets the creative juices flowing even more. And you should always just write those ideas down and then build off of it, sketch out what your place would look like, what kind of bean bags would you have in there? Would you have like velour ones, or would you have, fuzzy ones? Would you have carpet? Like, I mean, that's just fun stuff of creating. And it's a great way to help you manifest the things that you are wanting to do.
True. Lisa gives another comment. The book of the day on audio that also soothing is the Bible. Amen, Lisa. I definitely I've listened to many audio versions with the Bible and a few other religious books, and they definitely are soothing. And people don't really. It doesn't have to be, religious, but even if it is religion, it's still something. It's still some positive words, regardless of whether you have faith or not. But even listening to that, you can definitely get those right words that you possibly need. Some people just may need to listen, to
I
get over whatever they're going through.
I believe that, because even now, just like even when I was watching a movie last night, I always hear the things that I need to hear, whether if it's I'm reading or I'm listening to a song or I'm watching TV, whatever I'm going through. Sometimes I feel like it almost speaks to me and it will like make a comment and I'm just like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
that's, I hear that
True.
message. So
And the the Bible is getting easier to read. You can just basically um, just say one word, whatever it may be, trauma, and
yeah.
then you can kind of revert and go right to it, and it will have something there for you. So, but you know, anyways, we wanna um, you and I talked off the screen about the Atlanta Writers Group,
Yes.
Writer Club, and they're amazing, and they have their conferences twice a year, November and then in the springtime, and that's something I want to do. There's something on my bucket list to go down there,
Do
and
it. You need to do it this November.
I wish I was trying. I talked to Kim and George, and I would love to do that, but
I love Kim.
yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do it.
But
I
I do believe in like divine timing, perfect timing. And I feel like, if that's something you want to do, if there's anything you want to do, you just got to keep holding that vision and picture yourself there at the conference talking with Kim and your other friends, and
Mhm.
it will manifest. It will happen and it will happen in perfect timing. And like one thing that I've worked on these last few years is just not forcing things. I take action when I feel inspired to.
Yep.
I used to force things all the time, and I can see where that gets me, where that got me. And so I'm relaxing more into, I trust that everything that I'm wanting is going to come to me in perfect timing. I trust that I'm going to be guided and I trust that it's going to happen when it's supposed to happen. And if something feels like you're forcing or you're kind of like pushing against it, you should just take a step back and just be like, all right, just going to back off for a little bit and see what happens. And I feel like when I've done that, it seems the things that I'm wanting kind of come to me just like with ease. I don't even really have to do anything. I just kind of use that law of attraction and utilize that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I
Um,
talk about that in the book as well.
Now, even though your book is, it's on pre-order,
Yes, it is on pre-order.
and everyone that if you look in the comment section, there's I I left a link on there, and that way you'll have it,
Thank you.
pre-order it, and it's at blackrosewriting.com, and just go in there and look for Metamorphosis, and that definitely do do yourself some justice, especially if you wanna help yourself, you want
Yeah.
self-care, get a
Yeah.
book like this just to it gives you a head start. It will
It
give
really
you a head.
will.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether it's you're healing, whether you're, healing trauma or you're wanting to transform your life or you're wanting to go after, your bucket list things or things that you've always wanted to do. Is a really great book to transform yourself. I think that, um, if people who read it just can even take away one thing, I think that they'll be able to take away many things from it. But that is my dream that people will take away one amazing thing from it. And then they're going to incorporate that into their lives. And then guess what? Everybody else who they come in contact with is going to get that new energy from them. And
Mhm.
maybe they might, pass that on to somebody else. And I feel like that's how we change the world. I know it sounds crazy, maybe my dreams are big, but I don't even care. I just have big dreams, but I feel like that. I feel like, what we learn that can better like ourselves, that we can pass on to others and then they pass it on and so on and so forth. And I feel like that's how we create like a big world change.
Yeah, that's what my my buddy on the radio station, Russell, he was talking about dealing with situations, whether it's, about racism, but just deal with it one person at a time. Don't try to do it through the masses. It's just too stressful. One at a time. And that's with any situation. Just deal with deal with a situation one experience at a time. And just
Yep.
like you said, um, let's see. Got another comment for you. Congratulations, Ashley. I'm going through my metamorphosis now. Thank you for your inspiration, and you have shined your light on me, and it helped me so much. Awesome. Listen, vibe dash create. What's that? Panman? Panman? What? That's good. It's a great comment. And that's what you just exactly talked about. You inspired someone, and look, boom, it's gonna happen. The Lisa says it's definitely not good to bombard yourself with a lot, one step at a time. Process promotes progress. Amen. Yes. I mean,
Yeah, you can't make a whole change at once. It is a process. It takes, it's a process, and everybody has their own, time length, and you can't be like, okay, well, in 6 months, everything I'm going to be, like you got to set some goals, but you just have to understand that we're always like evolving. We're always changing. And that's what's important. And to, not put any pressure, I guess, on yourself, but just to continue on, with your journey and make some great changes for yourself so you can live a better life and be kinder to people and, just do the best that you can. I think that's one thing too, that like, I hope that people will take away from reading the book is that you never know what somebody's going through or what they've been through.
So true. I definitely want to have you on there some more.
Yes, absolutely.
What I can do is, I'm going to wait until I get the book in my hand. And I guarantee you that if not all the book, but a few chapters are going to have a subject in it that I might want to have you on here and talk about. I'm also on another platform called Fireside. So I'm also doing that, which is it's great. It's a new platform. I've just been on it for maybe a month or so, and that's something I do on Thursdays. So but good.
Absolutely.
Let's see what's Lisa says. Where do we get the book? Lisa, I have the link in the comment section. If you can go up, and it looks like you're on Facebook, so go all the way up, and it should be the first comment in. I'm going to put it on the screen now, but if you put in www.blackrosewriting.com and look for Ashley's book, and there you go. But that's the link. I don't know if it's highlighted on blue on the social media, but you got the website right there, Lisa. And thanks for your comments. It's
thank you.
very, very nice. Let me see if I have any more here. All right.
I will say one thing though, like before we close out or whatever, but I think that you'd be surprised how strong you are when you kind of do the work that you need to do and heal yourself in ways that you didn't maybe think was possible. And I think like in writing this and even just reflecting on, because I mean, I read the book so many times, like Charlie, with writing, like there's a lot of editing. You don't just like write a book and then it's done. Like you got to reread your work over and over and over again. So I just learned even more about myself every time I read it, for editing purposes or whatever. And I think that you just have to give yourself a chance. And if you want to make a change, and you can make a change, but you have to be ready to do it. And anybody can do it. So
that's right. So comment is, I don't know Miss Noel. But if someone can change and impacts one's life for the better, she earns and deserves the honor of recognition. Of course,
Thank you.
that's why she's on the Really Charlie podcast.
I
I was
will say
trying.
that we all have the power to help impact and change people's lives too. So just know
Yeah,
that. I think that's important that everybody knows that they can make a difference.
it's true. You can. It could be a person um, in front of the class that can help somebody. It can be a person in the class. When you walk out to school, it could be person on the corner. It could be the person panhandling, asking for money.
Yeah.
Everybody. And the other thing that may even help you is just some silent help. You can look in the sky and just have some thoughts to reflect,
Yep.
where you just kind of stop and stand and just look around and help yourself just by being inspired of what you're seeing. So there's is 100% everything that you see, every person, place, or thing can inspire you and help you.
Yep. I
And
agree.
some people get mad at me. I use that phrase all the time: person, place, or thing, and good, bad, and ugly. But it's those, they stick together. They usually kind of flow with whatever I'm writing, and but the inspiration is definitely there. Let's see. I don't want to miss any of these comments. We still got 15 minutes, Ashley. So don't be rushing off. All right.
Right, I will.
I'll call your mother right now. Let's see. Lisa says, "Thanks for sharing. Great hearing you both. Have a blessed night."
Thank
Lisa,
you, you
thank you.
too.
Yeah, applause for Lisa. Thank you for all your comments. They're definitely that's what I need on this podcast is some good input, and Lisa did it today. Thank you very, very much. You all did it. Every single comment here was very, very helpful and really welcomed. So, Ashley, you didn't say really Charlie yet, so I didn't say anything to stun you or uh, uh, you know, the really Charlie name comes from things when I do stupid things
And
or
people are like, "Really, Charlie?"
yeah,
Like, yeah,
really Charlie, yeah, So um it's something, that it stuck with me and I loved it. I loved, the phrase, do things around the house and my grown kids, as I say, they're fully grown and out the house and out the nest. And my wife says it, really, Charlie, I could do something and it's crazy. But it stuck, and then she
I think
gets
it's a
tired.
great name for a podcast. And I
Yeah,
got it when I first I was like, "Oh, really, Charlie?"
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I get it now.
Yeah. So this is one question I ask everybody on the podcast.
Sure.
Who would you like to see on the Really Charlie podcast?
Well, I don't know. Gosh, you're really kind of putting me on the spot here.
Well, then I'll
Picking
give
like
you
an author or someone like that.
anybody anybody you wish. It could be somebody famous, somebody that's close to you, a dear friend. You got highly recommended by your friends that you just met. Here, speaking of friends, this is one of our friends right
Oh,
here.
Kim.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Kim.
My awesome friend. So
My
glad you got to
awesome
talk to
friend.
Charlie.
I am so grateful and appreciative to you for setting this up and connecting us. So
Yeah,
this
it was
is perfect timing. I really appreciate you, Kim. Thanks for listening.
yes.
And you got to check out Kim's book, okay?
Yeah, I already have mine.
Yeah.
I have mine. I am so
Stealing
happy
Aries.
for her, and
Yeah.
I'm already anticipating
The next, right?
Yeah, no,
Okay, me
then
too. Same.
she's definitely she's ready. She's not gonna stop. She'll be 96 years old, writing in
I see
hopefully
your comment. Yeah.
hopefully on a balcony in her mansion. Between her and
Yes.
George, they're gonna be millionaires. All right. Yes. She says thank you. The yeah, here we go. She says
I see
darn
your
right.
comment. Yeah.
I love it. I can hear her now in her southern accent. Darn right.
My Gram's from North Carolina, and she's lived in Maine for like 40 years or something like that, and she still has a southern accent.
It's awesome.
I
It's
love it.
I love it. I just like listening to it, and I mean, speaking of audio books, I mean, could you imagine Kim just doing one
Yes,
of
I
her books and
can.
just kind of just going from
That'd be
chapter to
great.
chapter? She'd be great. She would read, especially when I hear her and Kathy on the podcast, and they have great voices for it, so they should do it eventually. George too, he's definitely, his book is amazing. I could have, along with giving me, Huck Finn, you know what, they should have gave me Hardscrabble Road. I definitely I would have been all into that. I would have got aces, I would have picked that book every semester and say, well, this is my book. This is my book for the year, but you know how teachers snitch and tell. Oh, Charlie did that book in my class. He did that paper in my class,
Yeah.
But so the I'm gonna continue to support you as much as I can.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm gonna be on your page.
Appreciate that.
Doing that. Instagram, which is I wrote it down here. And get you some followers on your Instagram page. Miss Manifest
444.
Yeah, definitely put the 4. Don't forget the 4.
Yeah.
You'll be going somewhere else.
That's a number I see all the time. So that's one of my numbers, my special numbers.
That's good. Hey, this is actually biblical. That's biblical. That's scripture.
Yeah, maybe after you read it and because I kind of touch upon some synchronicities and stuff like that. Maybe that's something that we can talk about because there's, it's kind of signs everywhere. I'm a true believer in signs and yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yep.
So we got another comment. People don't want us to leave, and I don't want to leave anyways. Yeah, I got good company here with Ashley.
Thanks.
Yeah, all right, that's Lisa was writing something. All right. I'm on every Wednesday, so please follow me. I'm on Anchor, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and please follow me as much as you can. Comment. Ashley.
Yeah, I'm on Spotify a lot, so I'm gonna. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be on Spotify. This episode will be on Spotify. Within the hour after we stop. And I'll put it all up there, and you'll be able to listen to it tomorrow.
Nice. And I'm sorry, Lisa. I see your comment about your sister passing. Maybe the 444 and us just mentioning that is just a nice sign from her to you. I just like to think of things like that.
Yeah. Keep it. It's her number. Keep it positive. And I mean, and the other thing is, the numbers, like you said, signs say a lot of things, and but please hang in there, Lisa. With your sister passing. Ever need anybody to talk to, send me a direct message, and definitely want to talk about it. You can. You want to come on this podcast, you can do that too. So, all right. Says thank you. I agree. All right, Ashley.
Yes.
We found out that we're close by. We're we're not too far from each other.
I know,
I
that's
thought
crazy.
I thought you were another Georgia peach, but you're not. You're
I'm
really
not.
close by, and we're gonna stay in contact. And
Yes, I appreciate your support and having me on, and I look forward to coming on many more times and many
yeah,
books to talk about and all kinds of wonderful things.
so true. We're gonna keep on going. Uh, and we're friends now. So
Yes, absolutely.
you need me, you give me a holler.
I will. I appreciate
If it
that.
has to be something outside, messages or something, let me know. I'll
All right.
send you my number
Thanks
and
for
you
the
can call me.
support.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Lisa says she's too shy for a podcast. Have a wonderful night.
Hey, put it on your bucket list, Lisa. Put it on your
Yeah.
things to do, because when you kind of go against the things that are fearful or kind of make you feel nervous, they kind of lose its power. So that's one thing
Yeah.
I've learned too. So in the last few
hmm
years.
Exactly. So
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's
yeah.
your comment.
All right. Ashley, you have any messages you want to leave with? Leave
Just
us with.
pick up your pre-order copy of the book, give it a good read, and be open to all the things that I share in there. And I just know in my heart that it will, you can be able to connect in some way to it, and just to kind of pass that on to other people. And let's just shift the vibration of this world for the better.
That's it. Is that beautiful book cover,
Thank
and
you.
just think of it. And but anything that I get from your book, that inspires me with some writing, I'll definitely send it to you.
I appreciate that.
Um,
Yes, feedback for sure.
yeah. But I'll pre-order it. If I don't do it this week, I'll do it next week. But
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'll put it right next to Kim's book. All right.
Yes. Right. Sounds good.
Thank you.
All
And
right.
you need me, give me a holler.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right.
All
God
right.
bless.
Bye.
Bye bye. All right, everyone. Awesome guest. That's Ashley. She's got to do her duties. She's on her way to, she definitely wanted to come on the podcast, and she made some provisions to make sure she had a babysitter. And I am so happy that she came on. You look at her, and you could see that she's definitely sincere about everything that she's talking about. And that's why I'm going to get her book. It's going to be one of the newest books on my shelf. And, feel free, everyone, share. You got books that you're reading, share it with people. Got to get back to reading and educating ourselves, and self-care is very, very important. And that's what she's talking about. Transformation, manifestation, all that. It all goes. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for for your time on this podcast. I really, really appreciate it. I will be on tomorrow on Fireside, which you can catch me. I got an episode called "Did You Know Stuff," and I'll be doing that on Fireside. If you don't want to go on the app, just go on YouTube, Really Charlie, on my channel, and it will be aired tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right. As I always do, I end with my favorite song by Lionel Peter Walker. And I will be here on, next Wednesday. We have a great guest, another great guest. I can't wait to speak with him. And it's going to be a great podcast. But join in every Wednesday here on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, now Fireside, once I get the hang of that platform. And we will definitely be trying to come to you on every podcast possible. All right, everyone. Let's see. Oh, I got one more comment I better address. I want to make sure I answer all the questions. Let's check it out here. Well, good night. Good night, Lisa. I appreciate it. And appreciate you. You did a great job for me today. All right. So I'm going to end with my favorite song by Lionel Peter Walker. Y'all have a good night. God bless. Life is short, so take advantage of everything that's possible. Tell people you love them. Do all the positive things that you can in your life. All right. Take care.
It's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yo, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Yeah, it's the Really Charlie Podcast. Bumping through your broadcast. Grab a chair, fill your glass.